but where is the evidence of resentment? That's what I'm going to ask you.
I see what you're saying. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. Now, because you could play with, I really wanted to see the planetarium. I think resentful could come from this one. If we had listed that one, I think you could argue that. And we might be able to argue this with the not fair. Right, Kim?
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't think you're out of line by saying resentful, if you can find the evidence to support it. And as we look, I think if we use these two, you could pull in resentful. I don't think it works as well with slowly wandered and flopped. But again, love that, right? When we go to, so here we're on dejected. I think dejected is on the sad line. So somewhere around here. It's pretty big. Disconnected. See, I think that's kind of down here. And I love that word. Misunderstood. I think that's that's right here. Now, I'm kind of arbitrary putting this, and this is where I'd put it, right? So y'all have to talk. Powerless. See, to me, powerless, it could go under sad, but I think I'd probably make that its own. Because I can't figure out where it goes. If I can't figure out where it goes on a line, I make it its own. Unseen, love that. I think
a hard time with this part that you're telling them about, like that we're teaching right now. The teachers will be fine, but the students are not going to have this internal tone line for every word that we pick. So I think that's going to be difficult. How do you tell the teachers to manage that?
Oh, I love that question too. Well, first of all, what you want to do is you want to just limit it to 5, because that'll help. Secondly, they're not going to come up with exasperated and resentful and dejected. What they're going to come up with is sad and disappointed,
angry,
unhappy, upset.
They're going to say mad and upset, right? And so I think if you have words like this, that it's going to be tough. But I think when you get the students involved, that it's going to be easier for them to see. They don't know these words, but I'll tell you what I do like. I love this question too, is that I do want you to add a couple of vocabulary words in here so that you can practice with them this tone line. And here is where you could get, for example, the sad. You could get a gray paint chip, and you could put sad right in the middle and give all the kids a paint chip, or, that paint stuff. And you could say, where does it go? So it's an actual exercise. The other thing that I would suggest is that it's a good opportunity. I was going to go here on this part in your close reading strategies book. When you look at page 10, you'll see my section called There's No Place Like Tone. Page 10, you might want to put a Post-it note in there. And when you look at the tone vocabulary, this is a list that I'll give to the students. And these are the positive and these are the negatives, and I like that. But what I did the first time I did this is I had the students do an Excel spreadsheet and give me the definitions, the tone definitions. And so my instructions were, okay, take each word and I want the tone definition and I want you to turn it in a week. So they turned it in. And then I thought, why did I assign this? That was the stupidest assignment I have ever done in my life. First of all, I'm going to have to grade all of these. Second of all, they didn't choose the tone definition. They choose the easiest definition. And they're wrong. But there was one of my students who turned in this, which is on the next page, 12 and 13. Her name was Valerie Monda. And I said, Valerie, you did such a beautiful job. And look, you even put synonyms over there. It just freaked me out. It's so good. So I'm going to make copies of this and you're going to have your tone vocabulary. So don't give them a list to work on. And then what I did is I assigned Kim Morgan. I'm responding to your concern.
Yes, ma'am. I'm following along in the book with you. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
And then I gave each one of the students a word because I had 180 students and I taught all different levels of English language arts. And so everybody got a word. And on different days of the year, the students would have to take their word and draw it and present it to the class. And they'd have to draw it in a manner that revealed the meaning of it. And so they would draw this candid here. These are actual this is student work. They had an open door here. You see that open door?
Oh, okay.
And then here was vexed. Here was somber.
Oh.
And here was giddy. And when they presented their picture, they also had to present, this was Esmeralda. They had to present the word. They had to present the definition. This was a 5-minute warm-up almost every day. The etymology of giddy with my OED, my Oxford English Dictionary, because, they don't know that words were designed 4 weeks ago, much less 1,000 years ago. And then they had to write a sentence that created the giddy feeling without using the word giddy in it. And they had to look at the diction. They had to have diction, imagery, details, language, and syntax. And so they wrote a sentence. Candy Cane, a pigtailed 13-year-old, skipped and giggled down the school hallway after her crush, Chad, asked her to the school dance. And so the tone of giddiness is derived from this sentence. And so they'd have to turn this in. And so you could have, in middle school, you could have a very simple list. This is a tone test. And this is for poetry, how different sounds create meaning. And so you would have them have a tone test. I mean, you would be working with tone all year long. And Kim Morgan, that is why your question, was perfect, because that's what we would be studying tone all year long in English language arts class, because it helps with their reading and their writing and their thinking and their relationships.
Yes, ma'am. I agree. Thank you. This is fabulous material.